Hi everyone, Melissa here. In today's video, I want to talk about I'm going to answer a subscriber question all about how to uncreate negative assumptions. So if you are wondering about that, this video is for you. And we're still giving away the free course, How to Find Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Fast. And you can find the link for that in the description of this video. Okay, let's talk about assumptions and how we create them and how we can uncreate them, and how to even know if they're negative or positive. Okay, so first things first, what is an assumption? So I went ahead and just went straight to the dictionary, and this is the definition of an assumption. It's a thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. Okay, I thought that was such a great definition because we talk all the time about believing it before you see it, and not constantly searching for evidence in your 3D that your manifestation is coming, or that, birds before land, signs, whatever you want to call it. When you assume, you're doing so without the physical proof. Before you see the physical proof, you are believing something is so, believing something is true, assuming something is true before you have any proof that it's actually true. And you're really good at it already. You are constantly making assumptions and judgments and creating beliefs for yourself all day long. You've been doing it your whole life. And so it feels very seamless. I mean, you don't even notice that you're doing it because you're so good at it and you've been doing it for so long. So when you have positive assumptions, that's when stuff you want manifests more frequently. When you have a lot of negative assumptions, you're probably going to see some stuff manifest that you don't prefer because you are accepting things are true that you don't like, with or without the evidence of it. Okay. So how do we get these assumptions and how do we change them? That's really the name of the game when it comes to consciously manifesting. How do you get what you want? You start assuming that what you want is true for you. You start assuming that what you want is possible for you. You start assuming before you see the proof, right? Before you see the evidence in your 3D. So, and you can basically, an assumption is, we use that interchangeable with the word belief, but really it's just thoughts that you keep having about something in a certain way. So you're thinking about something in a certain way enough that you're deciding, okay, that's probably true about that. That's probably true about that person. That's probably true about that circumstance. That's probably true about that thing, or whatever it is. I think that's true. I'm going to accept in my reality that that is true. Okay. And we do that all the time without any evidence in the 3D. So assuming, believing, it's all interchangeable in terms of manifesting. Okay. So how do you even know you have a negative assumption or belief? If something you want is not showing up, and you're noticing feelings pop up that don't feel good about it, or you're seeing evidence to the contrary of what you want, that's a pretty good indicator that you have a belief, and we could call it negative or contrary or against your desire. You have something, a limiting assumption, a limiting belief regarding your desire. And that's what's leading to those uncomfortable feelings, feeling frustrated, noticing that it's not here yet, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So the key is noticing when you have a negative or unwanted or contrary assumption. That's the first step to how to change it, is you notice that it's showing up for you. So ways to notice a belief that doesn't match what you want, a limiting belief, a negative assumption, would be if you think about your desire and you feel bad. Ask yourself, why do I feel bad if this is something I want? Because usually behind that feeling is a reason why you think you can't have it, a reason why you think it's not true for you. Okay, so that's a good indicator that you have a limiting, negative, contrary assumption. Also, if you see a circumstance and you react to it and you get triggered and your reaction doesn't feel good and reinforces that you don't have what you want, that what you want is not true, that's a great indicator that you've got some negative or contrary assumptions about your desire going on. Okay, so the first step to changing a negative assumption is recognizing that it's there, is recognizing it. And you don't have to dig and dig and dig to find when this assumption showed up in your mind, when you adopted this assumption for yourself, when you started believing something that you didn't like. You don't have to dig into when this showed up, when you took on this belief or assumption. But you do have to notice it and start assuming something different. So we use our negative assumptions or contrary assumptions to help us figure out what we want to be assuming instead. So something I like to do, if I notice I'm having a limiting thought or I'm feeling bad about something I'm desiring that hasn't manifested yet, is I will ask myself in that moment that I'm feeling bad or thinking contrary to what I want, how would I rather be feeling about this instead? What would I rather be feeling or thinking about this instead? And if it's related to a person, how would I rather they be showing up instead? Who would I rather see them as instead? How would I rather they be acting or acting around me, or what would I rather they be doing instead? And from there, from the what would I rather, that's going to tell you what you want. That's going to tell you what you would prefer to be true. And that's how you can create an assumption that will embody that, which will then manifest it into your experience. Because now you've shifted your focus from the negative contrary assumption to the positive assumption that equals what you want, that is in line with what you want, that works in your favor. That means that what you want is true. And when you start thinking more thoughts like that, when you start assuming more assumptions, believing more beliefs like that, that's when your manifestations show up so fast, because you've instantly shifted your focus to being the person that has that desire already, to the state of being in which your desire is true because you assumed so, because you are feeding your mind assumptions that equal that what you want is true right now. So the way you change a negative assumption, you recognize it first. You ask yourself, well, what would I rather it be? What would I rather it be? How would I rather feel? How would I rather they be acting? And then you start assuming that instead. You start, and a way to do that is a great way is affirmations, because you are affirming your assumptions to yourself all day long. A good example of this could be, okay, let's use the example of someone is trying to manifest a busy social life, lots of friends, feeling very loved and, really good social network. Okay. So, but in front of them in their 3D, their phone is not ringing or getting text messages. They have nothing fun scheduled on their calendar. They're feeling very lonely. They're noticing people aren't inviting them to do things. Okay. So their current circumstances are showing exactly opposite of what they want. So, and that's making that person feel bad, right? So in that moment, they're feeling lonely, they're feeling neglected, they're feeling unloved, they're feeling unpopular. Okay. How would I rather be feeling in that moment? I would rather be feeling loved, adored, popular, wanted, desired, fun to be around, always invited to things, always included, always chosen, communicated with. In that moment, how would you rather be feeling? Okay, so now you know how you'd rather be feeling. Now you start feeding your mind assumptions that equal how you'd rather be feeling. So instead of telling yourself, I'm lonely, nobody wants to hang out with me, I never hear from anybody, I never get invited to things, there's nothing going on for me, it's my social life is crazy busy. I always have stuff on my calendar, fun stuff on my calendar to do. People are always inviting me to do things. People always want to hang out with me. People tell me how much fun I am to be around. People are always telling me how much they love me love having me in their life. I have tons of great friends. I have tons of things to do all the time. Okay, so you are literally changing the story you are telling yourself, which leads to assumptions, which leads to your circumstances manifesting what you want instead of what you don't. And it also leads you to stop reacting to your circumstances contrary to what you want. So when you start assuming better, you start reacting better. And your reactions are in line with your desires, which just makes them manifest. So negative assumptions are nothing to be afraid of. They're nothing to worry about. You don't have to go on this crazy deep dive to try to find every single belief you have and when you got it. But what you should be doing is thinking about your desires and asking yourself, how would I rather be feeling about it right now? How would I rather be feeling about my desire right now? What would I rather be true about my desire right now? And then from there, you affirm and you start assuming, you start telling yourself that new story, that new inner dialogue, the new assumptions and beliefs that match what you would rather be experiencing in your 3D, and then it's going to show up for you. So don't be intimidated by your negative assumptions. They're actually really awesome because they're telling you what you need to change in order to get what you want, in order to see what you want manifested in your 3D, in order for you to experience what you want. So that's why circumstances don't matter, because we can use them as feedback to navigate. We can use them as feedback to change our reality, right? To change what we're experiencing. So contrary circumstances, negative assumptions, negative beliefs, reacting to something, that is all really good in the respect that it's showing you what you need to change if you want something different. It's showing you what you currently assume is true. It's showing you what you currently believe is true. And that's how you get out of it. That's how you figure out, oh, okay, I better be telling myself something different. Let's do another example. Let's say a third party. I had a question about a third party the other day. Okay, so you see in your current reality that your SP is with a third party. It makes you feel bad. It makes you feel unloved. It makes you feel not chosen. It makes you feel rejected. Okay, and and you are assuming, based on pictures you're seeing on social media or whatever things people are telling you, that your SP is madly in love with this third party. They're never going to break up. You're never going to get to be with your specific person. Okay, that's all contrary to what you want, which is to be with your SP, only one, committed to, nobody else in the picture. Okay, so that's great, because now you know what you need to change. You see what you don't like. Now you know what assumptions you need to start telling yourself to change that to be what you would prefer, which is third party. There's no third party. That person's gone. SP only loves, adores, chooses, wants me. We are really happy and adore each other and talk all the time. And we're in a really good place. We're the best we've ever been. And we love each other deeply, and we're very committed. And so you start telling yourself that new story. You go from questioning your circumstances to commanding them. You go from doubting and worrying and wondering to commanding and decreeing and deciding and holding firm in and having conviction in your new assumptions, in your new positive assumptions, in your new assumptions that are in line with what you want, that match your wanted truth. In spite of no evidence, in spite of contrary evidence, you command it in your mind. I don't care what I see right here. This is what's true instead. And that's how you break down a negative assumption. That's how you change your thought pattern. That's how you get your mind to naturally start telling the better story. If you do that enough, if you discipline your mind enough, if you have conviction and hold firm in your new story, no matter what your circumstances are, your mind is going to naturally start thinking of your new story first. It's going to be your default thought when circumstances pop up. And that's when your manifestations show up. That's when your circumstances show you your new assumptions, because you've accepted it as true. You're feeding your mind more of your wanted story than your unwanted story. And it has no choice but to show up for you, because you always get to experience what you accept is true for yourself, what you assume is true for yourself, what you believe is true for yourself. So Start with, how can I assume something better about this? How would I rather be feeling about this? And then go from there. Okay? I intend this video helped you. It was a really great question. So thank you to that subscriber. And if you are watching this and would like to see a video on another topic, please post that in the comments, because I would love to give you what you would like to know about. Also, I'm available for one-on-one coaching, and you can find the link for that in the description of this video. Remember, negative assumptions, negative beliefs, negative thoughts, they're not scary. They're not some big bad thing that's going to ruin everything. You just have to decide something better. Don't give your power away to thoughts that don't match your desire, okay? Instead, put all your power in thoughts that match your story. Start assuming better, and you'll start manifesting better, okay? I think that's it for this one. I intend you have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.